Hey everybody, I just want to do some videos kind of on the certification program available through NI. So in this video, I really just wanted to talk about the CLAD, which is the Certified LabVIEW Associate Developer. I'll do future videos on the CLD and the CLA as well as the CLED. I'm not really a test stand person, but they also have certifications available for test stand if you use test stand. This is basically a program through NI to gain certification to show that you have skills and knowledge with LabVIEW. So CLAD is the first in the series of certifications. So you have your Certified LabVIEW Associate Developer, and once you've passed that, the next one up is the Certified LabVIEW Developer, and then you have the CLA, which is the Certified LabVIEW Architect. So this is going to be your kind of entry level into certification with LabVIEW. So let's look a little bit at this. So this is a time-based certification, right? So it does expire. So this one is good for 2 years. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to retake the test. So there's a couple different things you can do. So if you get this certification, obviously the goal is you want to be pushing towards the Certified LabVIEW Developer after that. So if you get the CLD, you don't even have to worry about this one. Hopefully in the next 2 years, you're able to then pass the CLD. If you aren't quite feeling ready for the CLD at that point when yours is about to expire, you also can recertify through points. There's different things you can do in the community, attending user groups, presenting, there's a list of activities you can do to try to earn points to recertify. If you do need to recertify, you just take this test again, which let's talk about the test a little bit. So before you get started, how do you know if you're ready or not? So NI recommends you have 6 or more months of LabVIEW development. And they also recommend completing LabVIEW Core 1 and Core 2. They're saying if you do complete both of those, then you can kind of cut out 3 months out of that development. So you want to be pretty familiar with the LabVIEW environment and some of the common functions in LabVIEW. So you want to be familiar with data types. You want to be familiar with arrays and clusters and DACMX and stuff like that. So kind of the foundational LabVIEW stuff, you want to have a decent hold on it. This is a multiple choice test, so you don't actually have to do any writing code. You'll get a scenario. A lot of them are just pictures, right, of like, hey, I need to do this. Which one's the right way to do this, right? Not all of them are pictures, but a lot of them are. You get 1 hour to go through multiple choice test, just A, B, C, D. Pick the right answer. And it's not crazy hard, right? If you've gone through Core 1 and Core 2 and done, a little bit of programming, it's not an incredibly hard test. But it is a good testament to show, hey, I know the foundations of LabVIEW, I'm able to write code in LabVIEW, etc. So it's definitely, getting you on your path towards kind of having like a good professional portfolio built on LabVIEW. I'll pull up, there's this exam preparation guide. I'm going to pull this up in just a sec. I'm actually going to skip step 2 for just a minute. So schedule the exam. So you can take this online. So you'll want to find a room somewhere where you can, be alone. So they do require, it is like a proctored test. So there will be someone watching you take the test. So you can't have like your phone out. No one else can be in the room. They'll have you show them the room and whatnot as you take it. You can't have like notes and stuff like that. It's pretty simple. It's not anything crazy. You'll just go here when you're ready to take it and schedule your test. There is this test taker guide that gives you some more notes on just what that's kind of going to look like. And then you don't have to worry about having your computer set up and everything with LabVIEW and everything. They actually have you access a virtual machine that has everything set up on it already. So you actually don't need to mess with anything. And that's actually more geared towards like the CLD and CLA anyways. This one's just multiple choice. Once you're passed, you'll find out pretty soon whether you passed or failed, and you get a badge you can put on like your LinkedIn and whatnot and share that you got certified. So yeah, let's look at the exam preparation guide a little bit. So this is actually really useful. I was glad NI made this. So yeah, awesome that NI made this for us. I think it's really useful. But what this allows us to do is basically know a little bit more about what we need to be prepared for. So if you look here, talks a little bit about just, hey, like what's going to be covered very high level in this course. What preparation resources are available. So obviously Core 1 and Core 2, highly recommended that you go through this. And then there actually is a sample exam at the bottom, and I'll show you that in just a sec. But yeah, just like I said, 40 question, multiple choice test. So yeah, you just go through, find the right answer. You need to get 70% or higher to pass. So scheduling, we talked about. And then there's some kind of, again, high level, this is what you should know to take this test. And then you get this topics list. So here we're actually going to say, this is what percentage of the test covers these things, right? So hardware is part of the test, understanding some basic things about hardware, but it's a small percentage of the test. So, right, knowing things about sample rates and signal processing and acquiring data and stuff like that. So there's some of that stuff that you're kind of expected to know, right? LabVIEW programming. So there's all sorts of different things to kind of just review, make sure you know these things. And then, yeah, the majority obviously is programming fundamentals. So, you know, hey, I need to program something that does this thing with an array or with a cluster. How do I do that? So yeah, you want to be familiar with especially a lot of the common functions. So, you know, looking at these array functions, you want to be able to know what they do, how they work, stuff like that. So yeah, and then yeah, so here we're down to the example test. So you can see this is basically exactly what the test is going to look like. So you get some questions, right? Like, given this input data of this graph here, which graph best represents a low-pass filter, right? So, you know, this is more of like a hardware data acquisition question than it is LabVIEW programming, but it's assuming you know some fundamental stuff about that, right? So you want to be able to figure that out from there. Here we got a DAC-MX question. So, right, kind of requires you to understand some fundamentals of DAC-MX. Again, just ABCD. Got another DAC-MX question. Let's go a little further down the test. So yeah, some UI stuff. Yeah, some file IO. Stuff like that. So yeah, again, just a lot of like LabVIEW fundamentals, you know, indexing tunnels on loops and stuff. What's that gonna do? Yeah. So not super hard, but again, you need to be familiar with these functions and be able to figure out what they're doing and the right ways to do things. So, I mean, LabVIEW Core 1 and Core 2, they teach you all this stuff, but it's also important that you've done some projects on your own. So you've actually implemented some of this stuff and you've made mistakes and you've learned what works and what doesn't work and stuff like that. So, I mean, LabVIEW Core 1, Core 2, I think is super important, but actually doing some programming yourself, I think helps a lot in just being able to actually learn this stuff and really burn it into your brain once you've tried to do something and you know you have to think about it and figure out, oh, this didn't work, why didn't it work? And you know, I think that teaches you a lot more than just going through a course, but the course is kind of foundational to understanding the basics. So yeah, we've got this test. If you look down here too, it gives you the answers. So that stuff was kind of broken up into the sections of, you know, hardware. So you can go kind of basically test yourself and then see what you score. Again, if you're getting 70% or higher, that would be passing. So, you know, you're decently prepared. And then, yeah, whatever questions you get wrong, go back, try to figure out why you got them wrong, you know, what you might be misunderstanding or whatnot. So, yeah, and if you have any other questions on the CLAD, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to answer any questions. I have a few other practice exams too. If you want to go through those, just reach out. Happy to share those. But yeah, that would be kind of the CLAD in a nutshell for those who are interested in getting certified in LabVIEW. Thanks for watching.
Canon Controls is your gateway to mastering LabVIEW. Dive into programming for data acquisition, industrial communications, and manufacturing automation. Explore how to enhance your projects with cybersecurity best practices. Join the journey to elevate your skills and secure your systems with every episode.